everybody, it's me, Yeka. I just wanted to do a quick little introduction video, give you guys a little bit of background about myself and why I wanted to start this. So I grew up eating the standard American diet, just as most of you did. I grew up being the chubby one in my family. I loved eating fast food, candy, all sorts of stuff that I would not even consider to be food nowadays. And I just was super unhealthy, super lethargic, had all sorts of health issues that I thought it was just normal to have because it was just a part of my everyday life. And I tried so many diets as I got older. I tried the lemonade diet, the cabbage soup diet, so many different things. And I eventually started to get into just eating whole foods. And that led me to start trying gluten-free and then soy-free. And then unfortunately, I went vegetarian. And then I did try to do vegan, raw vegan. That lasted about a month. I was so hungry all the time when I did that. It was very stressful. I could not eat enough food to fill me up. And it was a lot of work. And I think that lasted like about a month. But I eventually started having some health issues when I had been paleo. I did paleo for quite a while, but I do love to cook and bake, so I was baking a lot of the stuff with honey and coconut sugar and all the delicious whole foods paleo desserts, but they were full of sugar. And at that point, I had lost a bunch of weight, but then I ended up gaining it back. I never really had a scale, so unfortunately I can't give you numbers of how much weight I had gained back, but I can definitely tell you that I gained back a bunch of weight that I had previously lost when I had originally switched to eating whole foods. And then I actually ended up in depression. I didn't realize I was in depression at the time. I later found out, but I also had issues with candida. I used to have really debilitating joint pain where my hips would lock. I would bend over to pick stuff up. I have worked in kitchens ever since I was 12 years old. I've been in restaurants and kitchens. And so picking up and bending over to pick stuff up is something quite common that you do in the service industry. And so I would bend over to pick stuff up and I would just have so much inflammation in my knees and my tailbone that I would have to stay stuck down on the floor for a minute until the inflammation went down. So with the candida issue, I had started looking into the candida diet and I came across some information stating that the candida diet says, that candida feeds off of sugar. And so they gave you like a list of specific foods and they allowed certain fruits. But when I was reading it, I was just wondering like, well, how come I can eat certain fruits if candida feeds off of all sugar? And at that point, I had remembered some friends telling me about carnivore a year before, and I thought they were crazy. So when I read about that on the candida diet with the sugars and all that, I started to look into the carnivore diet back in 2017. I did not find much information, but I did find a lot of success stories. And the success stories were just so amazing. I could not believe the things that people were healing themselves from. And so I came across this one girl. She had a very similar story. And at the end of her story, she says, well, you've tried all these other diets. Why not just try one more for 30 days? And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and try it. And my favorite thing about jumping into carnivore was that they recommended that you eat until you're full. And there's no tracking. Just eat what you like, and as long as it's animal-based, it's meat, eggs, or dairy, and eat until you're full. And as someone who is a fat kid on the inside, that was music to my ears. I was so happy to hear that. And so I was really excited to get into carnivore. I dove right in. Of course, I fell off a few times because I'm human. And so I did carnivore for about 3.5 years. It gave me so many positive side effects. I started to lose back the weight that I had gained. I started to gain muscle without going to the gym. I started to have, my nails started growing so fast. I used to always have short, brittle, and dry nails, and the skin would always peel off the edges, and it was not cute. But now I have really strong, long, and very pretty fingernails that I'm very proud of. And my hair started to get thicker and really nice. And I also used to have really dark circles under my eyes, which I believe is linked to liver issues. And I'm assuming it's from all the sugars that I was eating, albeit they were natural sugars. They were still sugars, and it was still hard on my body. And so the dark circles disappeared from my eyes. And that's when I eventually had realized that I had depression, because I had gotten out of depression. One day I just woke up and realized that I was no longer sad about my life. I realized that the relationship I was in, I did not have to stay in that relationship. I realized that the job I dreaded to go to every day was something I could just leave, and I just woke up one day and realized that I can take control of my life. And by the grace of God, that's exactly what I did. Although it was pretty rough to do all those major life-changing decisions, I was able to manage and get out of it. And the carnivore absolutely lifted my depression. I didn't even know that I had, which was so amazing. And the candida symptoms also cleared up within a couple months, as well as all the inflammation that I had, which I thought I was going to live with that inflammation forever. And I was so happy to not have to deal with my hip locking or feeling like an old lady in my mid-20s. And it was so exciting to not to have to live with that pain anymore. So I ended up doing carnivore for about 3.5 years. In 2018, I started what most of y'all may know as my Instagram, Eat Meat Queen. I had a friend who was posting his recipes, and I was like, wait, I make recipes and I do fun stuff like that too. So, I was like, why not? I could share it. And so I started sharing all my meals on my Instagram page and started curating recipes for my followers. And over time, I ended up falling off of carnivore. Unfortunately, I had some life issues happen, and I went through a really heartbreaking breakup. And so I did fall off of carnivore for a little while, which unfortunately a lot of my symptoms came back, as well as some other symptoms that I did not have before, like dandruff. My dark circles started to come back. Obviously, I had gained back a bunch of weight, like way much more weight than I ever thought that I could gain. And so I had kept trying to get back onto carnivore, and it was just so hard. But thankfully, I knew that if I was able to get back on it and stick with it, that I knew I was able to escape this horrible circle of suffering that I had fallen back into. And I eventually did get back to carnivore after many tries. I tried to do the animal-based diet where you just eat meat and fruit and honey, and that just did not work for me. I tried to eat less food, but still try to prioritize protein so that way I could eat potatoes and rice. I love potatoes. But I couldn't do any of those things. I have a problem with regulating how much foods I eat if it's not meat. And I love potatoes, so I could eat like a whole plate of French fries and not eat enough burger patties to go along with it. And so I eventually I don't know what happened, but I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired again. And I started to just slowly force myself to eat more carnivore. And so I have been doing carnivore for a few months again now, and a lot of the weight has come back off. I have lost about over 25 pounds now in just a few months, maybe 4 months, I would say. actually like 3 to 4 months, I would say. I've lost about 25 pounds just by sticking with strict carnivore. And I will say sometimes I will have a few pickles or a couple bites of potato. And for me, as long as I don't keep it in the house, I am better at controlling it. So if I like go out to eat, I'm okay with just having a few bites of those things. And I have a specific list of foods that I'm okay with if I eat just a little bit of it, like peppers and onions and carrots and things like that. But I do try to eat mostly carnivore. Most days I literally just eat burger patties. Sometimes I put some organic American cheese on there. But that's pretty much the gist of my diet nowadays. I do like to make coffee with my Equip protein. If you guys have not tried the Equip protein, vanilla is my absolute favorite. It is so good. I really try not to do chocolate stuff because of the oxalates. They do cause me inflammation. So I like to do the vanilla one, and if you guys want to try it out, y'all can use my promo code EatMeQueen to get a discount on there. It is made from beef protein, so if you have a problem with whey protein, or obviously plant protein is not highly digestible and it might cause people some gut issues, but as well as whey protein. So if you guys have had trouble with other proteins, I do highly recommend checking out Equip Foods. It's Dr. Anthony Gustin's product. He's located in Austin, Texas, and he's a really great guy. I've got to meet him before, and he's so awesome. And his product, that is one of my favorite products, like just in general. And so I like to have that as much as I can. It is so delicious, and it's sweetened with stevia if you get the flavored one, so you don't have to worry about any sugar spikes or anything like that. I know there's a lot of controversy over stevia, but for me, I've not had any side effects. I know they say that it's used as a contraceptive, I believe. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I can guarantee you that it does not mess with my cycle at all. I'm very fertile. So I know that it does not have an issue with that for me. And I'm not sure if those studies were based off of the whole leaf or if they were based off of the extract, which most people consuming stevia consume the extract. So I don't really think, I'm not sure if those studies were based off of the extract or not. So that's something to think about. And, you know, I would much rather do stevia than sweeten all my things with honey or coconut sugar or maple syrup, because for me personally, those things, my blood sugar, it just goes crazy with those things if I consume too much of it. And I do like sweet things every now and then, so stevia and monk fruit are my top two sweetener choices. But that's basically the way that I eat right now, and just a super quick little background story of my health history. And so the reason why I wanted to start this page and podcast is because, first of all, a lot of y'all have been asking me to do this for years now, and I just kept putting it off. I did end up going back into depression when I fell off of carnivore this last time. So, and gaining back a bunch of weight. I did not want to be on camera. I did not feel as good as I do now, or as good as I did back then. And so thankfully, I'm so thankful to be feeling mentally better and feeling good about life, and I just want to share my insights and stuff with y'all and learn with y'all. I wanted to veer a little bit away from the carnivore and animal-based lifestyle, not because it's not a big part of my life, because it is. It's a really huge part of my life. I mean, it was the whole first introduction, the whole first half of this video. So it is a really big part of my life, but you know, I have so much more to talk about that I want to share with y'all, and some ideas and just learning new things. I really want to talk more about femininity, God, and the Bible, and some conspiracies here and there. If y'all have been following me for a while now, then y'all know that I got into politics for a quick little blip, and it just was so stressful for me. before I had ended doing that, I had started really getting into femininity and becoming more feminine and living a biblical life. And all the signs were pointing to get out of the news reporting. It was just, to me, it was just too masculine. It literally got dangerous to where we were going to have to start getting security when we would go out to events, because we would go to opposing rallies and things like that. And so it was just a lot of it was a hostile environment. It was very stressful. Talking about horrible things happening in the world was just like killing my vibe. And so I eventually got out of that, and I wanted to move out of Austin, Texas, because it was just getting way too stressful and way too crazy, and it was not the same place that it was when I first moved there. And I know it was even more different before I moved there, but I had lived there for a little over 10 years, and over the years the city just literally kept deteriorating, and the people moving in there, it was just getting worse and worse, and the people running the city were just money grabbers, and they were pretending like they were trying to help with the homeless situation, but they did not save Austin. They just were money grabbing, and unfortunately it was something that I fell for. But I'm really glad that I got out of that, and now I live about 45 minutes outside of Austin, and I have one little acre out here kind of in the woods, a little bit away from the city, and it's really nice out here. I'm so glad that I made those major changes in my life. And so I just have been really getting into femininity, lifestyle, and the Bible. Obviously, God is so good that He sometimes puts us in uncomfortable situations to bring us closer to Him if we let Him. And so that's kind of just the way that I've been looking at it. And anytime I struggle or anything like that, I just go to the Bible, or I have this Bible app, and I'll look up specific Bible studies. It's really cool because it just like, if you're not familiar with the Bible, this Bible app it just makes it so easy to learn about different passages and different stories and different things that you can go to in the Bible to help you lead yourself to God and how to lean on Him a lot more. And so it's just been really nice getting closer with God. I had believed in God for a really long time, and there was a little phase when I was younger where I did not believe in Him, and I eventually got led back to Him, but I was not living a God first life. And so now I have been trying to choose to live a God first life and more biblical, even though it might be a little bit extreme sometimes. I've just been feeling better overall from the inside out when I choose to live that way. And I mean, you can't go wrong if you choose God first in any and every situation. I mean, tell me one situation where you can go wrong when you choose God first. I don't know. I have not figured that out. He does let us make our mistakes. So sometimes we have to learn from those mistakes, and we all know how much fun that can be. But it's not really a reason to put the blame on God just because you made a mistake. He did give us free will. So the fact that we have free will, it does mean that we can make mistakes, but it also means that we are able to learn from those mistakes and learn to lean on God when that does happen, and hopefully try to make a better decision next time. And so it's just been a really great journey trying to put God first. Obviously, I'm human, so I don't always make the best decisions or think the right thoughts and things like that, but it's all a learning process, and it's all about the journey, right? So I just wanted to thank you guys all for joining me on this new fun journey. I'm really excited to get into some fun topics. If there's anything at all that you guys think or want to hear me talk about, as long as it falls under those topics, God, the Bible, femininity. I'm still going to talk about carnivore and animal-based foods and health because, like I said earlier, it is a really big part of my life, and I do enjoy helping others become their best selves, and I do love helping others become healthy, not just with food though, spirituality and just everything in general. Health starts on the inside out, and it's all spiritual and physical, and so I just really do love helping others become their best selves. And I'm no expert, so please understand that I am not an expert. I am still learning a lot, and I'm not perfect. So I hope that we can all learn together, and thanks again for being here. I also want to give a big thanks to my sponsor at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. They also have a subscription program if you go to wolfpack.gold. If you're interested in stacking gold and silver, they do have monthly subscriptions starting as low as $50. Unless you want to get one for your kids, which I think is a really, really smart and adorable idea, that one is only $35 a month. So I think it's so good because you guys, the dollar is going to crash one day. So stacking gold and silver is a very, very smart decision to make. And it's just gold and silver has withstood the test of time. So it's very, very important to stack money that will always be dependable, that you can always rely on, and that will always have value. So thanks again to my sponsor, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. I really appreciate them. They're such a great company, and I highly recommend you check them out. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate y'all so, so much, and I look forward to talking with y'all some more. Bye.